What is going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Mike Roach Show. Hope everybody is doing well. I know I am. I hope you are as well. And, the first thing I got to do, because there are a lot of people that I have to give shout outs to tonight, a lot of people that I got to give shout outs to tonight that are Mike Roach faithfuls, always in the comments, always showing a lot of love. And there's already some people I see in the comments right now, super fan Mo official. I'm gonna come back to you a little bit later. Trouty McTrout, another official. I gotta come back to you guys a little bit later in this episode. I will do that for sure, 100%. But we're still on break. We got until tomorrow night before I do a post game show when the Raptors take on the Chicago Bulls. And so before we even get to talking about anything Toronto Raptors in this episode, I do want to touch on All-Star Weekend for just a little bit, not too much to go over there, but I also want to talk about LeBron James just a little bit. And then I'll talk to you about the final 27 games for the Raptors. I'm going to talk about Quickley, Barrett, Poeltl, and then I'm going to give a bunch of shout outs to the people who are always in the comments. Okay, some big shout outs coming later. I'm actually most excited to do that part. I am most excited to give the damn shout outs because I've been wanting to do it for a really long time. And I don't typically go live like this. I typically just do my episode, upload it, and put it out. But you know what? I decided it's time for something new here. So we're going to get into this here right now. The first thing I've got to do is I need to talk to you about one All-Star Weekend. Okay? One All-Star Weekend. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drop one All-Star Weekend because I thought it was better this year. This year it was definitely better, but only because the All-Star game was actually good. That's the point. That's the point. I mean, listen, the dunk off was trash. It was horrific. I mean, and that it's such a big part of All-Star Weekend that, God. But they got the rest of it right. See, the game was good. The three-point shootout was good. The Rising Stars was pretty damn good as well. All of those things were good. They really were. I mean, the Shooting Stars were good as well. And, right off the bat, Friday night, no complaints there. I've never really had any complaints about the Rising Stars issue. You're not going to find an issue from me there. I will say the coverage I thought was pretty decent with NBC. All right, VC, T-Mac, Mello, Reggie, Crawford. I thought that was pretty good. And so I do want to say something that I think is pretty funny. And you guys could let me know about what you think about this. What did you think about the TNT crew coverage? Do you actually miss them? I'm curious about that. Do you guys miss the crew from TNT? Because I felt like without them, we would miss them a lot more than I find we actually do right now. I don't know. You guys got to let me know about what you think about that. Because to me, out of sight, out of mind, we're not really seeing them around too much. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of them on the back end in regards to the end of the season and towards the playoffs. But we've only seen them, at least I've only seen them probably 3 to 5 times all season. And I don't think people actually miss them that much, to be completely honest with you. But I do like the coverage that we have seen from NBC. Friday night, like I mentioned, was good. Rising Stars was good. Saturday was good. The three-point shootout was really good, in my opinion. One thing I do got to drop a bomb for, that Damian Lillard. Because for him to be out the entire season, come into the three-point shootout and absolutely kill it, you got to give him a lot of love and respect where it's deserved. Shooting Stars, whatever. Like it's fun to watch. Don't really care about it that much, to be completely honest with you. But it is fun to watch. I don't really have a problem there. The dunk off, though. The dunk off. And, we've been talking about this ad nauseum. We've been talking about it for years. I'm not really sure how you fix this at this point. Do you have to go outside of the NBA to find dunkers that are willing to put themselves on display? Do we have an issue with guys in the NBA that for some reason are just scared of taking part in the dunk competition? I don't really know. I don't really know what it is, but it just seems like to me that people are scared. Thank you, Ash YI4TW. Appreciate that. Love this. Feels like we're having a conversation with you. I really do appreciate that. Trouty McTrout. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much as well. Trouty McTrout is definitely an Ash YI4TW. You guys get a lot of love for being in the comment section all the time. I feel like I know you, all of you, from just being in the comment section. Can't do it without you. So thank you very much. So here we go to Sunday now. We've talked about it. And you know, before we even get to Sunday, how do you fix the dunk competition? Any suggestions here on how you fix it? I really don't know. I don't. I have no idea on how Superfan Mo Official says, I love the new format on Sunday. Very competitive. I do like it as well, Mo. I do like it as well. You see, they put the old head all-stars on one side, the youngin all-stars on the other team, the non-American players, the world on a different team. And it does bring out the best in everybody, especially when you have a guy like Wemby that we all saw, who is an absolute savage. And he said, if guys aren't willing to play hard, I will do it without them. And so now you have no point because you have no choice, because he will embarrass you if you don't play hard now. And you know, American players, they're very prideful, just like the rest of everybody else. But with American players, they do not want to be embarrassed, especially from people in Europe, Canada, wherever the hell you are. You already know how it goes. They do not want to be embarrassed, especially from other people who are not American. It's just the truth. And so the format works. How long they can go with it, I don't really know. I like East versus West. And if you can find a way for that to be competitive, to me, I would like that a little bit better. But you get bursts of competitiveness when you do it Q by Q in 12 minutes. When you play these 12-minute games, you have no choice but to be competitive because you got to win the game within that time span. And if you, so it actually makes it better because, like I said, you don't have time to screw around in these games. You got to get after it. You got 12 minutes. So in that aspect, it does work. If you go to East West, now it's kind of getting dragged quarter by quarter by quarter. The play won't be too competitive, but yeah, you know, there's still going to have to be some tweaks to the weekend. But like I mentioned, this week was definitely better. Trout, I like shooting stars too. Corey Maggette can still ball. Corey Maggette still has an athletic body, like he should still be in the league. He's definitely still hitting the waist. That's really, really crazy. Moving on now quickly, because I spent 8 minutes just recapping this weekend. LeBron James, and I do want to touch on him just a little bit. Do you guys feel like LeBron James at least once in his career should have been in the dunk competition? Do you think at least once in LeBron's career he should have been in the dunk competition? I do. I really, really do. I think it's really sad that we did not get to see LeBron in the dunk competition, especially when he was young, going into his prime. You can't do it now. You ain't got bunnies like that anymore. But I was hoping that you would at least see it once, like the greats did it. The greats were in the dunk contest. You saw it at least once. And we didn't get it once from LeBron James. How could that be? Why? Why did he not do it? That is the question to me. Why did he just not care? Maybe he just didn't give a damn about doing it. Maybe he was just saying, you see all the damn dunks that I do in the middle of games. Why do I got to do it in the dunk competition for you? I would have liked to see it in the dunk competition. Now, he did represent well on Sunday, 22 All-Star appearances, which was absolutely fantastic. And he showed up and he showed out. But I will say this, and you know what? He isn't a finesse dunker. That is true. But I will say this. LeBron no longer sets the tone for All-Star weekend anymore. And he shouldn't have to. He's played long enough. He's represented the NBA well. For as long as he's been in the NBA, I don't think you can really ask him for any more. It's for the rest of the guys now. It's for the rest of the guys. I mean, and Wemby should be Luka, Shea, Kawhi Leonard, like we saw him go off. I mean, there's so many different guys at this point. Cade Cunningham, Scottie Barnes, all these young cats that are out here. And I'm saying that to say this because he was too scared to lose. I don't disagree with you, to be completely honest with you. I don't hope people's panties don't get in a bunch, but damn it, you're not wrong. You are not wrong by saying that, because I kind of believe that too, to be completely honest with you. He didn't want to lose. He didn't want to lose. But I don't even care if you go in there and lose. Just put on a damn show. Like when we look at it, somebody just talked about Zach LaVine. Okay. Do you remember the dunk contest in Toronto with Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine? I'm pretty sure you guys all remember that. And gals, you all remember that. I don't even care who won. I just wanted to see a show. I was there. I was in attendance. I was watching that whole damn dunk off in 2016. I was working for NBA Entertainment, and damn it, I went on a pretty long break. And I watched that entire dunk off, and it was phenomenal. Fantastic. It ain't just about winning. Even the one, look, where Vince Carter, T-Mac, Francis was in it. There was a few guys in it. It was a pretty damn good dunk off. We all remember what T-Mac, and I mean, it came down to Vince Carter. Don't get me wrong, but it ain't just about winning. Vince Carter put on a show, but everybody else did their thing as well. And so, yes, some people are afraid to lose, but damn it, you got to have the balls at least. You got to have the balls at least to go out there and put on a show for the people that want to see it. And he just didn't do that. But anyway, in regards to LeBron James, is the NBA ready? Is the NBA ready? Are the fans ready to move on from LeBron James? Fans should vote. Nana, what is that? Nana Ananel? Sorry if I messed that up. I tried. But he writes something here. Fans should vote on who is in the dunk off. Every team selects one or two players and the fans vote. That's interesting. That's interesting. But can you make them do it is the question. It's an interesting suggestion. Not completely against that as well. But can we actually get these guys to do it? And that's the interesting thing. Now, I mean, I hear them talking about you got to offer these guys more money. I mean, you want to see the big name guys in the competition. How much more money can you offer these guys just to go in there for 45 minutes to an hour and dunk? I mean, that's ridiculous. If you got to keep pushing out money to get these guys to go out there and dunk, like, it's just ridiculous. I don't know how much more that we can offer these guys to go out and dunk. Y'all hear T-Mac calling Scottie Barnes for Defensive Player of the Year. We'll chat about that in just a little bit. We'll chat about that in a bit. But are you ready to move on from LeBron James? That's the question that I want to ask you. Is the NBA ready to move on for LeBron James? Ash YI4TW, been ready for LBJ to move on. He's done. He's done his time. Completely agree. And I would say, I think the NBA is ready to move on from LeBron James. I do think he comes back for another season, 2 at most. I could see one more. I don't, Maybe you get 2, maybe, but I see 1 season from LeBron James, at least 1 more. And I think the league is in a good place going forward. I think the league is in a very good place going forward because you have the young guys that are there. You have the young stars. You have the firepower of the young cats that are out here, along still with some really solid veterans that are here. Steph Curry is still here. Giannis is still here. Jokic and all these dudes, Kawhi Leonard, all of those cats are still here. And those are some of the older cats that I'm mentioning that can still ball. You still got a bunch of the young cats that are out here. I don't have to name them. You all know who they are. If LeBron James, after this season, were to pack up his stuff and say, I'm out, the NBA would be in a very good place to go forward. We know he ain't doing that. He's still going to try to win another ring. I think he finds his way back to Cleveland. I think most of us think that. But if he doesn't find his way back to Cleveland, where do you think he may go? Because that's the only logical place that I can think of. It's the only thing. Don't want to see LeBron be a role player. I agree. I agree. But if he does not go back to the Cleveland Cavaliers, where does he go? It's Lakers or Cleveland to me. Do you have another suggestion of where he could go? Because those are the only 2 places that I can possibly see him being. That's it. And so, new face of the league right now, I don't really know who that is. People are talking about Anthony Edwards. It is not Anthony Edwards right now. And he doesn't even seem like he wants to be the face of the league right now. We heard that come out of his own mouth. Now, he said if it comes, it comes. Completely understand that. But it isn't Anthony Edwards as of right now. Shea, reigning MVP, finals MVP, reigning everything. Is Shea the face of the league right now? No. He's not the face of the league right now. Can he be the face of the league? Can he be the face of the league? I don't know. I don't know if he can be the face of the league. I don't know if he wants to be the face of the league. Trouty McTrout, Wemby. You know what? Wemby can be the face of the league if he wants to be, and I think he does want it to be. But in regards to the NBA, you know that people want the face of the league to be American. That's just the truth. It's just the truth. They want the face of the league to be Anthony Edwards because of his ability, the way he plays, the style, the manner in which he plays. High flyer, launches threes, aggressive. He's funny. He has the personality. He has the charm. You got to have all those things. You got to be a box office player. You got to be a box office player. It's just the truth. You have to be a box office player to be the face of the league. That's how they see it. That is how they see it. American media is, to me, very biased, obviously, towards American players. And for you to really get the people, your number one audience are Americans. Even though the game is extremely global at this point. They want the face of the league to be an American player. They don't want the face of the league to be from Canada, Europe, or Africa, or wherever the case may be. They don't want that. They want the face of the league to be American. And I'm not giving it to you from my perspective. That's what it is. It's what it is. And so who that is going to be in the near future, especially if they don't want it, like Ant-Man said, it just has to come. And if it comes, it comes. I don't know who it's going to be, to be completely honest with you. It might be Wemby by force. It might be Wemby by force. He might just go take it. He might just take it. He starts winning championships. He might just be like, just get the hell out of my way. If you don't want it, I'll take it. Because I'm not sure you guys have realized this with Wemby, or maybe you guys probably have realized this. He ain't that little scared kid that came from France. He's got an attitude on him now. He ain't as nice as he used to be. He's a dog now. He's a dog now. I got news for you. He wants smoke. And he could be the new face of the league by force. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. Because we've talked All-Star Weekend, we talked LeBron, face of the league, all that kind of stuff. But at some point, you just know that I had to get to the Raptors here. We had to get to the Raptors here. And I'm going to read some comments, maybe just a couple. Got some shout-outs to give as well. But we do got to get to some Raptors basketball at this point. What do I want to talk about in that regard? Well, I want to talk quickly for a little bit. Barrett, Poeltl, and where the Raptors are going to be and what we expect from them in these last 27 games. Okay, in these last 27 games. What are we expecting from them at that point, in that time? The Raptors are currently sitting. And should I do some screen share here? I think I probably should. All right. Let's take a look at this together here. Raptors are currently sitting 5th place in the Eastern Conference at 32-23. And you know what? We've talked a lot about the Raptors this season, and are they ahead of schedule? How are the pieces fitting? We're putting in, having Brandon Ingram into this lineup now. One thing we got to do is we do got to drop one, because we got to show a lot of love for the Toronto Raptors on how they have come out after 55 games this season, sitting 5th in the Eastern Conference at 32-23. You're 2 games in back of the Cleveland Cavaliers, 3 games in back of the New York Knicks, and you are 3.5 games at a second place in the Eastern Conference. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe the Raptors are going to be a playoff team. How far they're going to get in the standings, up the standings, move up, stay in place where they are, I don't really know. I'll be completely honest with you. I have no idea where the Raptors are going to be in regards to the standings when the playoffs start. I know there are 27 games left, and we have a lot of questions, and we're going to be discussing and speaking about this. But the Raptors, did anybody expect them to be 5th in the Eastern Conference with 27 games left coming out of the All-Star break? I mean, I expected them to be a decent team. I did. I expected them to be a decent team, but I didn't think they were going to be this good this fast. And so one of the people that I want to talk about, because we've talked a lot about Scottie Barnes and Brandon Ingram, I don't think we have too much to worry about in regards to those guys, but we do have to talk about some of the other guys, some of the other starters that I just mentioned. And we can talk about some of the other guys on the bench in a different show. But the real questions that we want have to do with Quickley, Barrett, and Poeltl. We know our 2 All-Stars. We know our 2 All-Stars. These are the guys that we want to speak about. And so I'm going to do another screen share. I'm actually going to do a bit of a screen share from my page. And so let's see where we're at now. So you're taking a look at my page right here. And so this is the episode that I did with what is really going on with Immanuel Quickley here. And there are some comments, and there are a lot of people that I got to give shout outs to at the end here from Cam L17. All right. And I'm just going to be going to random comments. And I'm going to start here. From a stylistic point of view, because we've had some big discussions about Immanuel Quickley, okay? I think Quickley is actually the archetype of point guard that fits the starting lineup well, because you have a point forward in Barnes, a point center in Poeltl, which he is not a point center, by the way, but as well as two ball handlers in Barrett and Ingram. So having a stronger shooter at point guard who doesn't need the ball in his hand is a good fit. The problem is that Quickley just isn't shooting the ball well right now, and Darko is putting the ball in his hands too much. Now, remember, this was a month ago. Okay, he's been shooting it better since that time. We also need him to be a stronger defender, which is true. I think we should try maximizing his value here rather than trading him while his value is low. He is going to start shooting better at some point, and you're absolutely right. Absolutely right, because he did start shooting better. Quickley did start shooting better. I'm not saying that he's at the potential that I think he can play at. I do think he can play better, but Quickley did start shooting and playing a little bit better than he has from a month and a half ago. Okay. IQ is a hybrid and the team's best 3-point shooter. Give him time to grow into that playmaking guard. Him and Scottie not having chemistry, some of that got to be on Darko and the offense. The Raptors run. I rarely see IQ and Scottie Barnes in the pick and roll. The offense is a big, big question for the Raptors. The offense is a big question for the Raptors. Remember in all these post-game shows, we've been talking about all these droughts that the Raptors go on? 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes scoring droughts. Just brutal. Just absolutely brutal. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the show as well. But man, some of those scoring droughts are just rough. Just absolutely rough. Dan G. Olag or Dan Golag. I don't know how this is pronounced, but one or the other. Oh, whoa. This is long. This is long. I don't mind the playmaking stuff specifically because we happen to have Scottie Barnes on the team, who is a better passer and quicker decision maker than most traditional point guards. That is absolutely true. The lead guard I always envisioned complimenting him best was someone who was a great shooter and could play both on and off the ball. I do agree with that, which I don't think there are too many players in the mold better than Quick who are available. You know, Quickley is one of those guys who I think is yet to play his best basketball this season. I think wasn't Quickley a sort of six man before he came to TL? Yes, he was. He was balling for the New York Knicks coming off the bench. So, you know, that's also why he gave Quickley a little bit of slack, just because he was in a different position. Right? He's had to make the biggest adjustment out of any player on this roster, especially after you bring in a Brandon Ingram. And we've touched on that before because without Ingram, when you had Barnes and you have Barrett, Quickley is the other guy who needed to do a bunch of your scoring. You don't necessarily need him to do that anymore. You do need his shooting. You need his quickness and his ability to get to the rim. And I'm not saying that you don't need him to score. You absolutely need him to score. But do you need him to score as much as you did prior to Brandon Ingram being on the team? No, you don't. But you still need him to get buckets because everybody's not going to be on every game. Everybody's not going to be on every game. And so that shooting that he provides, getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line, breaking down that defense, getting into the middle of the paint so they have to collapse on you, becoming a playmaker. You need Quickley to do all of these things. You need him to do all of these things. Now, I said, I don't think we've seen the best of Quickley yet this season. Let me just state that that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for. That's the best way that I can put it. This is a lot of stuff, and I got to move on here, but here's Trouty McTrout, chat. When RJ was healthy, we had 4 starters scoring, playmaking, and rebounding. Then we had Poeltl rebounding and screening. I think we have to see what happens with RJ at full health for a stretch. IQ's numbers are comparable to other seasons, but as you often say, it's not just the numbers. He seems to shoot terrible for 3 quarters and then break out into fourth. And that could be another quarter as well. I agree with that. That's nice, but why can't we get that from him all game? For now, I say let's get the team back in a rhythm. Worst case scenario, he's 26. Everyone knows he has a bit more in the tank, which is what we just talked about. So this is a good comment to read. Thank you, Trouty McTrout. He'd be a fantastic trade bait if the Raps want to make a big move. Don't disagree there. Don't disagree there at all. And I do agree with what you said there. Molly Weir. I think this is the last one I'm going to read from this episode. But happy Sunday. Great episode and analysis on IQ. My biggest issue with IQ is his decision-making and lack of court awareness. And I do agree with that as well. I think he's gotten better at it in the last, I would say, 3 weeks-ish, especially pushing that damn ball up the floor, which is what we all talk about. Darko needs to sit with him and show him the film and see if he can help him get better on that end. For now, I want him to play more off ball and see his decision-making off ball. That's a good point. And then increase his usage on ball. He has the most touch on the team, and in my opinion, is not doing a good job. But like I mentioned, this is like a month old. He's been doing a better job. Good comment here as well. He has been doing a better job in that regard. And I'm just hoping. I'm hoping he stays confident, keeps attacking the basket, becomes a playmaker, makes those open looks that he gets, but he can't lose confidence. He's got to break that defense down. He's got to be pushing that ball up the court quickly. Snap decisions, just like Barnes. Barnes, when you see him off a rebound, the ball gets outletted to him or he gets the rebound. If he sees somebody up the court, there is no hesitation at all with Scottie Barnes getting the ball up the court. Zero. None. He gets the ball up the court like lightning, which is what I love about Scottie Barnes. There's no hesitation. Get the ball up the court, get it out in transition, run, get easy baskets before the opposition has a chance to set up their half-court defense, especially when you've been having some of those nasty scoring droughts. Doesn't happen all the time, but it happens against good teams. And the Raptors, what is their record when they play against teams in the upper echelon in the East or West? It isn't very good. It is not very good. We have to admit that. We have to admit that. And so the Raptors got to do a better job of when they go up against the Pistons, the Knicks, Cavs, even though they did well against the Cavs because we played them early this year. But the Cavs are a major issue. If the Raptors run into a team like the Cavs in the playoffs, I mean, after getting a dude like James Harden, they're going to be a problem. The Cavs are going to be a problem. I'm telling you. Boston Celtics, we've struggled against them. There are some decent teams at the top of the East. And the Raptors, how are we looked at? Is anybody scared of the Raptors? I'm asking you. Do you believe that? Give me a yes. Give me a no. That's it. Just a yes, no. No one's scared of the Raptors. Anyone, you think, in the NBA is worried about having to play the Raptors in a 7-game series in the playoffs? I don't think anybody's too worried about them. But if their team is healthy, can the Raptors make any noise? I don't know. You see, This being the first time we're really going to get a good look at the Raptors with Brandon Ingram and Poeltl and Quickley. Everybody's in the lineup, and I did see that everybody did practice today. Colin Murray Boyles is still has that injured thumb, but he did practice. And I saw that Mamukelashvili, I believe, did practice or did some type of walkthrough or something. But the team that we need to evaluate is the team that we see in the playoffs. That's the team that we need to evaluate to see what we have to do. Because we really don't know what this team is. We know they have some talent and they got some good pieces. But until we see them in a playoff series, we don't really know what the exact right move is to make until then. When we see that, then we're going to know a little bit more. Next, I'm going to talk about RJ a little bit. And RJ, you'll say, what do you think the Raptors' predictions on the Raptors' final 27 games record? That's a good question. And because you bring that up, let's look at their schedule for a second. Let's look at their schedule because I have a number in mind that I think they could go. Let's look at who they got. Okay. So we got the Chicago Bulls and then Milwaukee, OKC, the Spurs, Washington, Knicks, Minnesota, Dallas, Phoenix, Detroit, Denver, Chicago. Phoenix, Clippers. We got Detroit again after that as well. Orlando. And teams are going to be jockeying for standings, right? You're going to say Trout McChout goes with 17 and 10. 17 and 10 over the last 27. I'm going to say that's interesting. I was going to say 15 and 12. 15 and 12. Possibly 16 and 11. But you got some pretty tough matchups. Clippers, Detroit, Phoenix. You got Detroit a few times. The Knicks, Minnesota, Phoenix on a back-to-back. Orlando. Yeah. OKC, the Spurs. Yeah. That's interesting. I think it could be around 15 and 12. 17 and 10 would be 17 and 10 would be. I mean, you're knocking on 50 wins here if you pull that off. 50 wins. I think when I did the show with Pensari, my boy Rob, you know what? Damn it. I got to drop one for Rob too. Content creators. When Rob and I did our pre-season stuff, and before we got into the season, I had the Raptors, I believe, on his show when we did it at 47 wins. At 47 wins. We're at 32 now. So if we go 15 and 12, it would have my prediction at 47 wins correct. It seems like some people think maybe the Raptors can win 50 games. That would be tough. That'd be tough. I mean, 17, you get 18 wins. That's interesting. It could be. But I want to move on in regards to talking a little bit about one RJ Barrett here. Okay. Now from RJ, the couple of things that I really want to see with RJ is about shot selection, making the extra pass, being a better defender, basketball IQ. Those are just some of the things from RJ Barrett. What scares me a lot about with RJ, I wouldn't say a lot, but at times, is shot selection. His shot selection makes me nervous sometimes. It really does. because sometimes I just see him bulldoze over the defense, which is not something that we want to see. I don't want to see guys going 1-on-3 and 1-on-4. That ain't it. That ain't what any of us are trying to see here. Okay. You want to see him take good shots. When he's wide open, you want to see him take those shots. Out in transition, get into the basket, you want to see him there. You want to see him get into mid-range, throw up that little floater if he can, get to the free throw line, knock free throws down. That's what I want to see from RJ Barrett. I don't want him to do too much. I want him to take what the defense gives him. That's what I want to see from Barrett. I just want to see him take what the defense gives him. And I know that it sounds simplistic, but that's honestly it. Like, that's honestly it. You guys are to be good role players. For Barnes and Ingram are going to do the majority of your scoring. Now, Barrett and Quickley, they take a load off for these guys. Because Barnes, a lot of the time, look how much the guy has to do. Seriously. Look at Barnes when he's playing. He has to score. He rebounds. He defends. He's a playmaker. He's out in the open. Like, he can't do everything. Even though a lot of the time he's blocking shots. He's altering. I mean, there's a lot of things for the man to do. He can't do it all. And so in regards to scoring, he has to exert so much of his energy on the defensive end, getting steals, getting into the passing lane. He's guarding point guards. He's guarding shooting guards, power forwards, centers. He's all over the damn place. And so when a bunch of that energy is being used on the defensive end and blocking shots and doing all these different things, we need these guys to step up offensively. Not just Brandon Ingram. We know what Brandon Ingram can do. He's done it on a steady basis. We have seen that enough, at least at this point. Quickley and Barrett, we need those guys to be consistent. And Barrett is consistent. Don't get me wrong. He gets buckets. But you got to be efficient as well. Quickley, the same thing. But it's about shot selection. It's about shot selection. Defensively, I think Barrett is okay at best. That's the area where I'd like to see him improve, is defensively. I think he could do a better job on ball as a help defender and as a communicator. I really want to see that. I want to see him dive on the floor. I think we could see that a little bit more from him. And we just haven't seen him be too good defensively as of right now. But let me know if I'm nitpicking. Joe Fan 101. A team that is middling in offense, especially when RJ is not on the floor, tells me they probably shouldn't get rid of the guy. Remember, this is about 3 weeks ago now. The Raptors at one point were a top 10 offense and defense before RJ got injured. That's a pretty good team. Don't disagree with you. It's better when he is in the lineup. Michael JP3QE. Why fix what isn't broken? Hometown kid RJ Barrett is a real contributor to the success of the team. You're damn right he is. He has been begging to stay on the team. If he is traded, I don't think the Raptors will do well. We all know he was not traded. I think the Raptors are finding a groove. This is from Jock Chung. I think the Raptors are finding a good groove. We need to give these guys a chance to grow and not make any blockbuster moves. Let's just get a backup center. Can't rush us off rebuild, and we are ascending. True. Trouty McTrout once again. I always like to remind the young peeps how rare it is historically to have a Canadian-born player of RJ's caliber. Good point. For decades, we've dreamed of having a Canadian player like this on the Raptors. I would never trade the heart of the team. This is a long one. I'm going to move on and after this one. Hey, Mike, your comment, chemistry matters. Here are 3 terms those trapped in the not trade binary should become familiar with. Topology. RJ exemplifies the bend but cannot be broken credo. That is true. Other commentators have highlighted the glue-like properties that RJ exhibits consistently. You host processing through breaking down and building back up. That's happening. Seems to be a fundamental component of how RJ approaches everything he does on the court. As I've commented before, and who is this? This is BuzzToot. This team is never satisfied with what they already know. Their toughness, dogs, is derived from their caring about collective improvement. I give Scottie and Darko credit for this, but doesn't leave RJ out of that formula. RJ is a catalyst and a heck of a chemist to boot. Listen, I agree with a lot of what you guys say in the comments, and not everybody agrees with me when it comes to RJ Barrett and how important he is to this team, and I think he's very important. RJ, now that we have these 27 games left and we're going to see guys more healthy, because from what we saw with him the few games that he played before the break for the All-Star, he still had to get his legs under him, still getting his breath under him as well. He missed a bunch of games, guys. He missed a lot of games. And this stretch of basketball, these last 27 games, we're going to see a little bit of what the Raptors are made of here. A little bit of what the Raptors are made. Do you guys remember that last game the Raptors played before the All-Star break against the Detroit Pistons? Do you guys remember that? I mean, the Detroit Pistons. They put the smackdown on the Raptors in that game. They exposed them a little bit. They did some exposing in regards to the Raptors in that game. They did. We have to admit that. And that wasn't the Raptors coming out saying, oh, they didn't play well or they just didn't shoot well. No. I mentioned it on that post game and I'll mention it again. They took the Raptors' heart in that game. They did. The Detroit Pistons are for real. They're for real. Like, can they come out of the East? I wouldn't go that far yet. But they are for real. And they got a serious culture. They have an identity. And to me, I have to ask you guys this. And if you guys can comment on this, comment on this. If you guys watch the episodes that I did, right? I just did an episode with Javon Shepard. You guys have seen me with Alvin Williams and Matt Devlin. You guys seen me with Jack Armstrong. The one question that I ask a lot is, what is the Raptors' identity? What is the Raptors' identity? Every good team has an identity. And he said, we got bullied with Duren and Stewart not on the court. That is true. That is true. We did get bullied. So imagine if those guys are playing. I don't know what this team's identity is. And to me, we've had an identity crisis even from when Ujiri was here. I never knew what this team's identity was. Like when we won the championship, we were just a hard-nosed, gritty, savvy veteran team with some damn good defenders, and the best player at that time in Kawhi Leonard, he was just going in that season. That was just a tough-nosed, hard, defensive veteran team. But overall, aside from that year, I can't really say that I've really known what the culture and identity of this Raptors team is or was. to be completely honest with you. I don't know. I really don't know. And like Javon Shannon and a lot of other people who have been guests on this show, we're still waiting to find out. We're still waiting to find out what the identity of this team is. We're still waiting to find out what this identity of this team is. We have absolutely no idea. And so with that being said, the guy that I want to speak to you about first, or I should say last, is Jakob Poeltl, since he's now back in the lineup. And so we've had a sample size of what, one game of Jakob Poeltl coming back into the lineup. Like, to me, Jakob Poeltl is huge for this team. He's huge for this team. Defensive anchor, high field goal percentage. Even though you got to spoon feed him the ball, can't create his own shot, but high field goal percentage around the basket. Defensive anchor. It's all about health. He just has to stay on the damn court. He's got to stay on the court. That's all really what this comes down to with Jakob Poeltl. We know what he can do. He can block and alter shots. He can clog up the paint. He can get into that pick and roll with Quickley. We know what Jakob Poeltl can do. He's a good player. He's got to be healthy. He's got to be on the court. That's really just what this comes down to. The Raptors, you see, this is the thing about the Raptors as well. The Raptors don't have the luxury. They're not a good enough team that they can really do anything substantial if any one of their players are out of the lineup. It's just the truth. Everybody's got to be healthy for you. And I'm talking about be healthy for you if you want to have a chance to do anything in the postseason. You can hang on and win some games in that regular season. But we know what the playoffs are like. We know what the playoffs are like. Who are some of the teams that you're going to be matching up against? Sixers, Cleveland, Boston, Detroit. We talked about this already. Those are the teams that you're struggling with. Those are the teams you're going to be going up against. You got to have everybody in your lineup for those guys. Everyone. He just talked about what happened to us against the Pistons with Isaiah Stewart and Duren not even in the lineup. We need a full health to see if that early season run was an aberration. Not wrong. Does Superfan Mo official? Does Yak still sit on back-to-back now that he's back? That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure about that. It's a good question, Mo. I really don't know yet, to be completely honest with you. I think we're going to have to. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think he should at this point. I think he should still playing back-to-back, even if they limit his minutes. Even if they limit his minutes, he should still be in that back-to-back. 27 games left, damn it. We got to ramp it up. We got to ramp it up a little bit now. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty. It's getting down to it. We got to be extremely clear about that. Jakob Poeltl. This is the last screen share I'm going to do for you guys, okay? Before I start giving a whole bunch of shout-outs to subscribers. I got them all on here that I'm going to be reading out. Let's go to the episode that I did where I was talking about Jakob Poeltl for a little bit. We'll pause it here. I'll share the screen talking about Poeltl. Get some of the comments read there. All right, let's head into the comment section. This is JPow67. Yak's numbers from last season is inflated. For most of the games, he was either the second or third option on the floor due to Raptors tank resting players. In this season lineup, he would be the fifth option on offense. Yes, I don't disagree with that, right? And I know I was talking about some of the numbers, and I think this year, Yak right now, with all the games that he's missed, he's been averaging and not being able to move well, by the way, not being able to move well. He's averaging 9 and 7 right now. If Jakob Poeltl was healthy and he's able to move well, I don't see why Jakob Poeltl can average at least 13 and 8, 13 and 9. Like 13 and 8, 13 and 9. You don't think he can at least average that? I think he could at least average that if he's healthy in the lineup. The real truth, 533. Poeltl is professional and has great basketball IQ and attitude. I do agree with that. He is a serviceable player. Maybe, just maybe, they can move him, which we obviously know they did not. Again, package him and Grady. Only option, Mike, more likely in the offseason than at the deadline for sure. His back issues might be less of a concern in the offseason. He isn't going to be active this season. Ash YI4TW. I've really tried to be patient. I personally would trade Poeltl. Unfortunately, he's unable to stay healthy. When he's healthy, he's amazing and makes an impact. That is true. Injuries have gotten the best of him this season. That is true there. I like Yak and IQ as players. This is P. Gwali Gale. I don't know what the hell that is. I like Yak and IQ as players, but the contracts for both are really messing up the overall composition of the team. Injury prediction is very difficult. Even so, Yak is a reasonable player when healthy at $19 million. IQ would be a reasonable contract. That may be $21 million. Next season, the combined salaries of I didn't know all of this was here. Of the two players will be over $50 million. The next season, well over $60 million. Honestly, for the most likely fourth or fifth scoring option, that is a lot. These contracts also drastically limit which bench pieces can be added. We essentially need role players to be on rookie contracts or vet minimums. That maybe works on LA and New York, but not in the T-Dot. I don't see that Yak contract being moved this season, maybe dumped this summer. I hope for some fringe moves, serviceable center on cheap on a deal, backup center. Okay, there's a lot here. But this is the team we got here now moving forward. And so with that being said, and I talked about this before, at this point, we just have to hope that Jakob Poeltl is healthy. That's it. This is the team moving forward. This is what we have going into the last stretch. We do have to remember when he's healthy, he's a good player. When he's healthy, he's a good player. He contributes. And that's really what this thing comes down to. Okay? So we looked at the schedule. We've given our predictions. And I talked to you about the offensive droughts. And on offense, they need motion. Away from the ball, they got to be active. They got to push the tempo, get to the free throw line. Defense, one-on-one accountability. Poeltl, that paint protection. All of that kind of stuff. Mike, have you considered a Discord channel so the community can chat after the show? I have not. That might be a pretty damn good suggestion right there. That is I have to write that one down. Discord. Remember that. Thank you with that suggestion. Trouty McTrout. Talked about you a lot. But before I get out of here, because I have never done a show that's an hour. This is the first one that I have done. And so I do have to read out a bunch of names here that I just got to show a lot of love to. Okay. Superfan Mo Official. Mo has been listening to me for a while. It's funny because a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but I have been on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and stuff doing shows similar to this for a while, for years, right? But I was never on YouTube. I was never on YouTube. That's the thing. It's only recently that I've really ramped up doing podcasts the last couple months for the Raptors. I've been on here talking politics and all that kind of stuff as well. Not as much right now. I've been specifically focused on talking NBA hoops and Raptors. I do talk those other things as well, but this is where the juice is at for me right now. But I've been doing podcasts and shows and stuff for a very long time, but I've just recently ramped it up on YouTube. And so Mo Superfan Mo has been commenting on my stuff for a very long time. I'm gonna drop one for there's a lot of people. Ash YI4TW. We gotta drop one for Ash. Quabi F Baby. We gotta drop one. There's gonna be a lot of bombs in this one. There's going to be a lot of bombs in this one. Trouty McTrout, damn it. Okay. We're dropping one here as well. Pensari Basketball, my boy Rob, who gave me a really nice kickstart to the channel. We gotta drop one for Rob as well. And if you haven't already done so, you got to go check out Pensari Basketball. I mean, the breakdowns that he does, I'm talking about 2, 3, 4, 5 hour shows. Listen, my man Rob, I got to get Rob back on the show. He hasn't been on a few months, and I definitely got to get him back. The Real Truth, we got to drop one for The Real Truth as well. Molly Weir, Ranked Scrub. I'm going to drop one for Molly Weir as well. Definitely comes through in the comments a lot. So I got to drop one. Ranked Scrub. I'm going to drop one. Okay. Guardian Transit. Dog 2233. There's a few. Gregory McFarland. Michael West. I don't know if I can keep going bombs for all of these. Penny Hardaway 24, Cam L7. My boy Brandon Graham. Shout out to my boy BG. I'm gonna drop one for you. NK. I see Johnny G. I'm gonna drop one for him because I do recognize him as well. Alistair James. I did recognize him as well. I wasn't going to. Matt B, Don Spiff, Mo P, Andre Lindo. Yo Chef, Big Dirt One, Alex Therix, Ken E, James Barron, Dean Reynolds. Shout out to my guy Dean Reynolds. AB69, Tom Ollie TV, Chidzo, Audrey or Andy Osipov. There's a lot. But honestly, I just got to show a lot of love and support for all of you guys, man, because honestly, I didn't even expect my channel, to be completely honest with you, 2.4 thousand subscribers. And you got to remember, I'm not used to being able to doing post-game shows because remember, for the last 11 years, I've been at Scotiabank Arena. So I've never been home for these games to do these shows. This is really the first year that I haven't been at Scotiabank Arena working in broadcasting to do all these shows. And I'll still be at Scotiabank Arena a couple more times this season, doing some games for specific teams. I think I'm going to be working with some of the opposing teams, maybe the Knicks, Brooklyn, and some other teams and stuff like that. But I have been in the stadium for so long that I've never really been home, especially, I mean, obviously for home games, to be able to do something like this. So to be able to be home doing these games, post games and all that kind of stuff is fantastic. I love it. And I'm hoping and that this channel continues to grow. Like I mentioned, the love and support that you guys have shown is just phenomenal. And I can't do any of this without you guys. I always love to show you guys the respect that you deserve from getting in the comments consistently. And one thing about me is why I'm never going to disrespect you guys in the comments. And like I mentioned, I try to get back to everybody as fast as I possibly can. Sometimes I may not see it. And for some reason, when I try to answer, I get an error message and it's very annoying. But I'm one of those people who comes on here. I don't think I'm better than anyone. I don't think I'm smarter than you. I don't come on here and trying to stun on anybody being in the comments. Yeah, I have a lot of connects and I've worked in broadcasting for a long time, which is why you see all these guests that you see come on my show. But I try to do it with a level of respect, decency, and honesty as much as I can. And one thing about me and why I'd love to come to you guys in the comments, I'm not one of those people that believes that anybody has to listen to me. Nobody owes me anything. No one owes me anything. I'm a creator. I love the Raptors, been around the team, been around the media, been around executives, been around scouts, general managers. I've talked to owners. I've done all these things over the last 11 or 12 years. Still do it now. Still do it now. But all I'm saying is, I don't believe anybody owes me anything. I see that there's 12 people watching me right now. And I'm proud to have all 12 of you here. You guys don't have to watch me. You don't. When I see that I have 2.4 thousand subscribers, some people say that's not that much. I want you to call 2.4 thousand people right now. Go text 2.4 thousand people. Let me see how long it takes you. Go on your phone and call 2.4 thousand people. Send them a text message. That's a lot of people for me. From a guy who started this channel less than 2 years ago and just started putting out content consistently in the last, I would say, 3 months. This is more than I can ask for. This is more than I can ask for. And so I am very, very grateful for all of you. At Mike Roach 7 on IG, at Mike Roach 23 on X. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and share the Mike Roach Show. I will be back again soon, and saying soon as in tomorrow. The Raptors are going to be taking on the Chicago Bulls, I believe, at 8 p.m. So I will see you for the post game for that. This is the Mike Roach Show. Glad you guys were here. Hoping to see you guys in the comments post game for Chicago. And I'll be back again soon. Peace. I'm out.